Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So we're going to be doing my NHL predictions video in terms of standings or anything like that. This is the setup, well, for normal videos. There's stuff needs to be cleaned up, but get it cleaned up, make it into a beautiful studio. Whoops. Alright, whatever. We'll keep it like that. This video is just going to be NHL standings predictions, and then I'm going to talk about a couple things that I did not mention in the weekly show video. There's like chocolate or something right here that's stuck to the table. Now I got it on my finger. That's right. I'm going to go through each division and each conference, starting from the West. So in the Pacific, here are my top three teams. Calgary will have 110, or I'll get to the points here in a second. My predictions for the top three will be, in the Pacific, will be Calgary, Vegas, Arizona. My top three in the Central will be St. Louis, Nashville, and Winnipeg. Those are my predictions, basically the same three, except for they're just out of order. Man, that here is really bothering me. There. My wild cards, they're both both my wild card teams are both in the Central. So Colorado will be one, and Minnesota will be the second one. Now, point totals. Calgary, I will predict they had 107 points last year. I'm going to predict that they get 110 this year. Vegas with 93, I predict that they have 105 this year. Arizona, number 3, they have 86 points last year. But it seems like the past 2 years, Arizona has done well in the second half of the season. I think if they play just like the way they have in the second half of the season, in the first and second, they're a playoff team. I really hope in Arizona. They came so close last year that I just want them to get in this year. But it'll be the first time they did it since 2013, I believe, if I remember correctly. Anyway. San Jose, I predict that they will have 80 points this year. Last year they had 101. LA, they had 71 last year. I predict that they have 78 this year. So a slight improvement. But they have, I think they had I can't remember. They had last time I checked the postseason standings, they had 9 points, which was the most of all the West teams. At the time it was. I mean, it's probably not now, but, well, there's so much hair on this microphone. Well, it's this fuzz deal. That's what the issue is. Okay. Oh, jeez. Okay, I better not get that close up to here. Since I can, I'm just gonna. Sorry about that. There. That's better. I should have done this before the video, but who cares? Back to my standings. Vancouver, they had 81 points last year. They're going to decrease, but only down to 77. Anaheim, they have 80 points last year, even though they went on that crazy, what was it, 20-something game losing streak? It was crazy. Literally. That's why I'm choosing them to go down, and they're going to decrease to a 68 points this year. My mom's really not going to be happy with this one. Last place in the division is Edmonton. They had 79 points last year. They're only going to have 60 83 this year. Of course, I'll do this for the mid-season too, so. Who knows? Everything could change. You know, it can't be just McDavid and Draisaitl. You know, I was thinking about this right before I made the video. Would the Edmonton Oilers be a playoff team if they had Mark Messier, Yari Curry, and Grant Fuhr? I was just thinking that. And my ultimate response was no. But they would only miss it by like that much, though. Let's see. Central Division. First one, I believe St. Louis is going to take the Central. They're defending the Stanley Cup champions. They had 99 last year. I predict them to have 110 this year. Nashville, they had 100 last year. I'm predicting that they have 108 this year. I think they're going to do better this year. I mean, their really point when they started getting good was in 2017 when they made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. That was the start of the whole mustardy yellow sellouts for every game, it seemed like. They're going to have 108 points this year, I predict. Winnipeg, they had 99 last year. They're only getting 100 this year. I mean, it's an increase of 100. Both teams I have for a wild card spot are Colorado and Minnesota. They're in the same division. Colorado only got 90 points last year, somehow still made the playoffs. I predict them to have 99 this year. I think they're going to be a much better team than they were last year. Minnesota, they had 83 last year. They're going to get 93 this year. That's just my prediction. I think Minnesota, they've been in the playoffs like 5 or 6 times in the past 10 years. I'm pretty sure they can make it this year. Minnesota has always been that team who gets out in the first or second round of the playoffs. I remember in 2014 they played Chicago in the Western Conference it was semifinal, sorry. And then, sorry, I'm tired. I feel like they can make it back to the playoffs. Dallas, they're just gonna miss it by 3 points, I think, this year. Dallas, they had 93 last year. I predict them to have 90 this year. Number 7, Chicago. They're going to be at the last of their division again. They had 84 last year. They're only going to get 83 this year. Yeah, to me, Chicago will still stay in the 80s this year. I mean, Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane aren't like what they used to be, if I'm being honest with you. But I mean, they're still going to dominate like they do pretty much every year. I just don't see them making the playoffs again, even if they try. Quinville, of course, he got fired too, so that had something to do with it for sure. But yeah. East. Let's move on to the East now. Now, top 3 in the Metro. Washington will be in first, of course. The Islanders will be in second, of course. If Carolina can take out Pittsburgh, I'm pretty sure Carolina can take out Pittsburgh. So Carolina will be in that top 3, even though Pittsburgh will still be a wild card team. At least in my predictions. Now, of course, we'll do this mid-season. So my mid-season predictions could go really wrong, too. I think my mic just went off. Okay, it's good. I thought it sounded like my mic went off there for a second. Testing, 1, 2, 3, test. Okay, yeah, it's working. Washington, I predict to have 110 this year. They had 104 last year. Washington was one of those teams last year who they kind of fall back after winning the Stanley Cup, like Pittsburgh did in the 17-18 season, like Washington did this year. I don't know what to say. Okay, let's just keep going. The Islanders had 103 points last year. I'm predicting that they have 107 this year. Carolina, they had 99 last year. I think they're going to get at least 100. I put down 106 for them. Pittsburgh, they have the wild card spot. They had won 100 games or they had 100 points last year. That's impossible because they only play 82 a year. I think they're going to get 100 again this year. You know what they say, keeping it 100. So Columbus is just going to miss it by about that much. Actually, I was actually going to put Columbus down now that they got rid of Bobrovsky, but I don't know. Columbus, to me, are just going to miss it by that much. They won 98, or they had 98 points last year. I predict, sorry, I'm tired from school, obviously. 93 points I predict that the Columbus Blue Jackets are going to get this year. Philadelphia, they had 82 points last year. That's how many games there are. I think they're going to get 88 points this year. I have faith in Philadelphia. Philadelphia, if you make the playoffs, I'll be the happiest man alive. Because last time they made it was in 17-18, if I remember correctly. The Rangers, they had 78 points last year. I predict them to have 80 this year. The Devils, they're going to be back in last place again. They had 72 points last year. They're only going to increase their point total by 3. Atlantic Division. This one was, I don't want to say it was tough, but with some of the acquisitions that the teams made this summer, these are just my predictions just based off of that. Boston, they're still going to continue to dominate again this year, I think. They had 102 points last year. They're going to get 107 this year, I think. I think Boston's going to want some revenge against St. Louis. They're number 1 in the division. Surprisingly, I don't have Tampa Bay there either. Number 2, Toronto. I predict them to have 106 points this year. They had 100 last year. Number 3, this is probably going to shock a lot of people. I have the Florida Panthers in at number 3. And that's because they have Sergei Bobrovsky now. That helps them a lot. I mean, it's an upgrade from Roberto Luongo for sure. I mean, some of the guys in this team are very good, really. But they just don't have a goaltender to back them up, and I think that's where Sergei Bobrovsky comes in and leads them to a playoff spot. They had 86 last year. I'm predicting them to have 103 points. I know it's going to be a challenge for Florida, but if they can do it, I'm pretty sure any team could do it. Montreal, they're my second wild card team. They're number 4 in the Atlantic. They had 96 points last year. I predict them to have 99 this year. Montreal, they came close last year, but to a wild card spot. But this year, I have a good feeling that Montreal will get back to that wild card spot. This is going to shock a lot of people too. Tampa Bay, I put them just below a playoff spot, and that's because they got swept by Columbus this year. I predicted Tampa Bay to win the Stanley Cup, and the way they just played in Columbus was just awful. That's why I think they're going to miss the playoff spot. Even though they do have Andrei Vasilevsky, I still think they're going to miss the playoffs. I mean, yeah, they did sign a couple players. Sorry, I'm so tired. But anyway, number 6. I think the bottom 3 are obvious. Buffalo. There was a one point in November and December, I think, where the Sabres were on a 10-game winning streak. Like, at that time, I literally thought they were going to make the playoffs, and then they went all the way down there. Number 7, Detroit. They had, let me describe their point totals. I I think Buffalo, they can do better. They definitely have done better. But I think they're going to get 87 this year. They had 76 last year. They're going to get 87 this year. Just my prediction. Detroit, they're still going to be a bad team like they always are. They had 74 points last year. They're getting 75 this year. Nothing really surprised. Ottawa, this won't be a shock to a lot of people. I predict them to be last in the division, like they were last year, number 8. They had 64 points last year. I think they're only going to get 65 this year. The drama in Ottawa is just out of this world. Once Ottawa gets things fixed there with their owner Melnick, I think they could do better. But for now, we have to put them at last place. I mean, it's just things go. Teams do have a downfall at some point in their existence. They're going to have downfalls, like the Kings did a couple years ago when they missed the playoffs. No, let's not use Washington. Edmonton. Last time they made the Stanley Cup was 2006 when they played the Hurricanes. Right after that, they went until they made it to the playoffs in 2017. They got out the second round against Anaheim. Then, of course, Anaheim went on to make it to the conference finals and then lose to Nashville, and then they went too. So this season, I don't know about this season, to be completely honest with you guys. Some picks I'm going to get way off. Some of these picks I might get it by like a little bit. I'm going to be a little bit off. Maybe one pick I choose will get right. I mean, you never really know. Standing wise to me are going to be similar this year than last year. Of course, there's a couple exceptions like Arizona and Florida. I think they're going to make it. But yeah, I want to just talk a little bit about things I didn't mention in the weekly show. I think you could tell that I'm kind of redoing the set here. Yeah, right after I get finished cleaning up the set, decorating it, and all that. I mean, I have a plan of what I want to do for it, but I don't think it's going to work. Because it was kind of a fail last year when I did it. This poster will definitely not stay here, that's for sure. Neither will that one. I just wish like I had a room I could film in, but you know, the room we have back there, it's used for storage stuff. Well, at least I think it is. So yeah, and then there's not enough space to pull out all that stuff out here and put it right here. I mean, we literally have to make a path to get it. So yeah, I mean, if I did film in a room, all these posters would be hanging up in the background of my set. That's just if I did have one. But you know, my room, my bed's like right in the middle of the whole room, so that really doesn't work out very good. I could try doing it in the room upstairs, but during the summer months, it gets really hot. And even when it's winter, it still gets hot up there. So, yeah, I really don't want to film in there. But, I mean, once I'm moved out of the house and all that, I'll definitely switch things. I'll definitely have a room to do my show in if it's still going, which I'm pretty sure it will. But anyway, that's it for now. Musketeers hockey, we have to talk about that. It will be back this year, but there's been some situations going on arena-wise, so if I do it, it probably is going to be for only like 8 or 9 games, probably. Well, I don't want to get in too deep about the whole story about it, to be honest with you. I mean, I know pretty much all the details, but I just don't want to save that private for between me and my mom and dad. I'm going to keep that private. yeah, so some of the studio upgrades that let's talk about Saturday quick. Sioux City will play Omaha in their, how do I call it? Home opener, I should say, against the Omaha Lancers. What I plan to do, since apparently YouTube made this dumb thing where if you reach 100 subscribers, you can live stream from your phone. I mean, I was doing that a lot so that I could actually get like live action and stuff that's going on. But now that YouTube screwed that up, I have a plan of what I'm gonna do. What my plan to do. My tongue is kind of itchy, so I know that was gross, but I'm like the only one who ever touches or uses it, so I'll clean it off after. But one of the studio upgrades is that I'm gonna have a glass stage. Like I'll have a thing that says Ronnie's Hockey Show. Because what my plan to do was to make like a newsroom and like a news studio. And this will be new. It will be used for the Ronnie Show when we do that in summer. We might even do it for. Next time I see Abby, I'll talk to her and see if we can do it like a Christmas special for the Ronnie Show, just to make up that time we missed this summer, because we only made like 3 episodes, I think, and I just didn't really like it at all, to be completely honest with you. So I wasn't happy. I'm sure Abby isn't, that we made more. I mean, because I think the year before we made like 17 or 18 episodes of it, I think. So, yeah. I mean, stuff, now that we're in middle school, things have changed and you get more homework now and all that. And, well, I mean, I do see Abby during the school year, of course, but not as often as I do in the summer. And then, of course, some things I mentioned in the weekly show with that is she was here on odd days of the week, like on Mondays and Sundays and Tuesdays and all that. Once in a while she's there on Saturday, but not this summer that I knew of. But she was here on like Mondays and stuff like that. I mean, I still have stuff prepared that I did in July that we haven't done yet. We'll definitely get to it next summer for sure, hopefully. The show will continue to go on. But, yeah, I'm just gonna, what I might do is make like a whole life update video, maybe like once a month. I mean, just leave down in the comments suggestions, what should I do, or whatever. I mean, I definitely appreciate your feedback on what I should do. Other than that, that's all I really gotta say. I better get to bed. It's getting close to my bedtime, so we'll see you guys all in my next video, which will probably be Ronnie's NFL show.